CEO and founder of Beehive. Beehive is the first peer-to-peer lending platform for SME businesses in the UAE. Yeah, so I think it's growing out of a nascent ecosystem that probably you started to see real traction, I guess, a couple of years ago. So, I'm starting to see a number of peer-to-peer players coming out. You're starting to see payment processors coming. You've got people in the cryptocurrency space. So, in addition to what is happening just from an entrepreneurial perspective, you're seeing a huge increase in regulatory interest. You're starting to also see some of the established financial institutions and the banks here looking at how they can collaborate or cooperate with FinTechs in the wider kind of GCC and MENA region. So Beehive, we launched at the end of 2014. We basically, I think, probably tied in with possibly the worst time in the economy here of 2015 with the oil price, but it was important that we set up and started to educate the market and really educated the market in the area of FinTech that we're in, which is the peer-to-peer. So 2015 we started to really educate and grow as a business. 2016 was stronger for us, and going into 2017 we've had a really strong start to 2017. So I think it's just reflective of confidence coming into that marketplace. And of course, a couple of months ago we became regulated as well. So we became the first FinTech to be regulated within the wider MENA region. And that was a really important milestone for us in terms of validating what we're trying to do, but also giving confidence to our consumers, our customers. But also I think it's a good barometer for the wider regulatory and FinTech space across the MENA. I think there are a couple of factors that are really driving the FinTech industry. One is what's happening on a global level. So you're going to see in 2018, you're going to see things like PSD2 happening in Europe, which means that banks have to start opening up their customer data to a lot of different FinTechs, and that will inevitably grow out of just the European side. Asia, you're getting a lot of movement in there, and obviously in America. So I think the Middle East is an exciting area because of the demographics for FinTech. And you're going to see that demographic trend in this region drive with the smartphone penetration, with the requirements and expectations of the customer base. Plus you're going to see these efficiencies that are going to be required in more of the banking, financial institution, plumbing side, and that could be anything from blockchain to more efficient lending models to more efficient payment models. I think startup costs are a challenge here, and it's something that needs to be addressed, principally because you've got a lot of different countries and territories that are vying to be FinTech hubs, FinTech champions for particular geographies. And whenever you're setting up a business, you've got to look at regulatory costs, you've got to look at normal business costs, you've also got to look at employment costs. And talent tends to go where they can have reasonable standard of living for a reasonable cost. You're competing against FinTechs maybe outside of the territories who've got lower cost base. So it's about getting that balance, and I think that you're starting to see an acknowledgement of that and a lot more movement with some of the incubators, some of the hubs, looking at innovative solutions around office sharing space, trying to keep costs down there, trying to keep maybe some of the legal and regulatory costs down. I think that's going to be important and needs to accelerate as you look, when you look outside of the territory, because it's still cheaper to maybe set up a business at the moment in the UK than it is in the UAE. I think the first piece of advice I'd say is talk to as many people as you can talk to who are entrepreneurs in the space. FinTech is a very, very broad category, so take that opportunity to maybe sit down with a few FinTech entrepreneurs, understand some of the specific challenges they had, and understand how they approached those or the solutions they had. And then start to engage with the regulatory sandboxes as soon as possible, so you can understand what is required of you to maybe set up your business within those, or what help and guidance and assistance they can give you. Because the idea with some of these sandboxes is that you can start to get interaction quickly with banks or financial institutions that will help you as part of evolving your business model to make sure that you're on the right track. For us, it's about trying to become the number one platform for peer-to-peer across the MENA region. We think that is something that is, would bring a huge benefit to this region. We know that SMEs are a huge driver of GDP growth and employment as you go forward into the future is going to be made up of a lot of the younger people setting up knowledge-based businesses or digital businesses. Therefore, they need solutions that can accommodate their type of business models. So we want to grow in step with this region as it looks to grow. And I think if we could become the dominant brand in peer-to-peer, then we would judge that as a success.